And welcome back, everybody, to the sports scene. And I am here with Coach Blake Mauser. Coach, this is what I'm going to call this the pre-coaches show. How about that? Sound pretty good?
Sounds great. Love
Excellent, excellent. We're getting ready for a fantastic 2025 season, folks. If you can't be in the stands, you can definitely be on the sports scene supporting these guys. This is going to be a very, very special year, Coach. Last year, 3 rounds deep in your freshman season as head coach of these Total Rattlers. And what a great season it was. Speak on that a little bit and those great 20 seniors that we lost last year. And just a little bit on that, since this is the first time we've talked since the end of last season.
Yeah, no, it was really looking back, as a first year head coach and first year in general, there's not many that can have an experience that I was able to do. And I really appreciate those 20 seniors, taking the job. I knew they were good. You're watching them on film, watching them play in the state game, but then you get around and be like, dang, these guys are pretty dang good. And it's even more so like in kind of coach talk. That's high compliment. And the way they allowed us to coach them, they weren't necessarily, oh, who are these guys? And they played for each other, and they played hard. And that's one thing that was imminent from the first time we saw them play. They played extremely hard, and it showed. And when we got against really good teams, that Bells team, people don't realize how good Bells is that second round. And for our defense to do what they did and offense do what we did and get into that spot, well, that's a huge win. And winning an area round in the first back up into 3A is just a beginning, like we talk about, like a cornerstone into, like, as you build a program, as you build what's going on.
So. Absolutely. I told my brothers, Taylor Sheridan could not have wrote a better script for last year. Because if you think about it, you come in, you're a new head coach, you come in, you got 20 seniors. Sometimes for a new coaching system, that's a little bit of a deterrent because these seniors have been in a system for a long period of time. They've bonded, maturated with this. So there was a lot of success, including a state championship run. And when you come in, how daunting was that for you and your staff?
Oh, it's huge daunting. We had a couple of coaches that were holdovers, but a lot of new coaches coming in, and Coach Humphreys, who's here with me as well, but he came from a big school as well, and so just trying to, how you can football's football at all levels. We always talk about that, blocking and tackling and win you games. But in terms of the scheme and the structure of practice and just the little things of how with facilities, when it rains, what do we do? And our kids handled it beautifully. There's definitely times I made mistakes as a first year head coach, which that's going to happen. But in terms of, hey, automatically we got to go to the E-Gym. I still go back to that Teague week where we had a rough one against Peaster, and that Monday morning, it's pouring rain. We can't get on the field, and we go in, and Coach Higgins, the special teams coordinator, and I, we spent a long time. We thought we had something special in our kickoff return game, and we spent a good amount in the E-Gym. They stayed focused, and we did our kick return not on grass, but in the E-Gym. And then, all of a sudden, bam! You know the result. First kickoff against Teague, and we're able. And it kind of just sets the tone. But it just shows you that they were willing to kind of move around and show and be ready to practice wherever it needs to be. So that was just, again, goes back to those kids and willing to be coached by someone new and going from there. So
it's a special place. It is a special place. You're a special coach. I believe in this. The system's great. 60-year-old man, you cannot be giving me heart attacks with last-second field goals, 2 hour lightning delays. Let's cut all that out this year and win by 30 every week, okay?
Sounds great.
All right.
We're in. Yeah, we're good.
Now, you've already mentioned it. A lot of the success comes from the guys that not just the players, but the staff that you have behind you. And we're very fortunate today. We've got one of them here. You want to introduce this guy and tell everybody what he's about?
Yeah, so this is Carson Humphreys. He's our offensive coordinator. Coach Humphreys came, and one thing that when I got this job, I opened the job up, and his resume popped right off the bat. And because we're kind of in the same coaching family, and that's kind of where it's neat. So one thing I knew, he comes from a school where I knew he works extremely, extremely hard. And that's one thing that it's valuable to have an office coordinator does that. He's very smart. He's been coached really and he'll tell you this, he was coached by some really good guys in high school. And so he knows how to coach. He knows how to relate to kids, and then he knows the game. And so he's done a phenomenal job this offseason. We've gotten to talk, and we couldn't do what we need to do offensively without him and his leadership. So yeah.
Excellent. We'll pass the mic over, and we're gonna get to talk with Coach Humphreys. Now, Coach, first and foremost, the first time we've talked on air, and you've been able to address the audience here. You gotta let everybody know who your boss is. I'm not talking about this guy. Talk about your wife, children. You got anybody at home? Anything like that?
For sure, I do. Have a wife going on 10 years of marriage. We have a little 2-year-old girl. Her birthday's in 2 days, actually,
All right.
turning 2. And then we actually have a baby boy on the way this year.
All right. There you go.
So we'll have another football baby due November 1st. But we're excited for that. The house is busy. We barely missed that 2 under 2 mark. So we'll have about a 2.5-year-old and then a newborn. So it's going to be busy. But my wife is a rock star. She works from home and she handles everything there and kind of lets me do my job here.
And you got to give her name out or she'll throw something at you.
Okay, Faith Humphreys. She's amazing.
There you go. Fantastic. I'm telling you, me and Coach have talked about this before. The coach's wife has got to be the second hardest position anywhere on the planet. The first hardest is my wife's position, okay, because I'm a case. But I'm talking about coaches' wives in general. I mean, that's long hours you guys have to put on the field, into the students, always busy. And a lot of times that attention, the things that need to be done around the home, sometimes that kind of gets pushed a little bit to the side, but they're very forgiving of it. The good ones are. And that's what keeps you around for 10 years, by the way.
For sure. Yes.
Absolutely. So. But we're going to send flowers, right, guys? Right. Lots of flowers, lots of dinners, okay?
And chocolate.
There you go. Chocolate's always good. All right. So, Coach, coming in last year with this group and everything, you had to be excited. You had a phenomenal running back in Peyton Brown and a head coach that you truly believed in and that you knew the systems that were going to be in place and everything. Toller, very special place. How exciting was last year for you?
Well, it was beyond exciting. For one, getting to take that step up into the coordinator role. I was young and big-eyed and just ready to get here and get to work. I came down in that spring before as much as I could and just ready to get the ball rolling. And it was exciting. And, yeah, you look around, you saw the pieces we had offensively, and it's like we're going to be able to do some things. We worked through the quarterback battle and had all that, and I couldn't have dreamed of it working out much better than it did.
It worked out fantastically. What a great season we had. Now pass this over to Coach Mauser again. Stay right where you're at because we're gonna continue here. All right. So we talked about last year, and we talked about all that and everything. Y'all have been through 2 scrimmages with Cisco and with Jacksboro and everything. I've talked to the guys, and they seem very, very confident that they saw inside themselves a step, a maturation from one scrimmage to the next. That's got to bode well for you guys moving forward to where it counts, which starts this Friday night.
Yeah, we're a young team. Like you mentioned the 20 seniors, and so we're a young team, and we knew that was going to happen, and that's kind of the nature of programs. Sometimes you're going to have that, and so, but really with any team, I'd like to say that you're going to see a different team week 10 than you see week 1. If not, then we're not coaching, we're not practicing where we need to get going, and so, and even more so when you're young. The learning curves, you have to learn faster, and those learning curves are steeper. So if we're seeing those learning curves and we're seeing it, then that's a good thing. And we saw Jacksboro's heck of a program, so is Cisco, and that's where we tell our kids, so guys, we're not playing Little Sisters Poor and things like that. We're playing teams. You go look at Cisco's record the last 20 years. You go look at Jacksboro's records the last 20 years. I mean, there's reasons for their success. And so when we're competing with those guys, we might give up a few big plays. We might have got a couple of sacks, but how do you respond and how do you keep getting better on film? And when at the same time, we made big plays against them too. And so there's definitely growth, and the kids can see that on film. We talked about yesterday, was scrimmages are never as good as you think they are and never as bad as you think they are. And so it's always about getting better, playing the next play, not riding the roller coaster, and then just learning how to compete on an every play level. And that's going to be the biggest thing as we keep maturing.
Yeah, and that message is being well received because as I've talked to a lot of the guys, they keep saying, we feel like we're the learning curve. They keep saying that term, learning curve. They keep saying getting better each and every time they step on that field and everything. So they're very receptive of that. Sure. And I think that's something that we're going to see carry through moving forward. Now, Coach, I work with my brothers, and I know how hard and daunting that is. But I've watched you and your brother together, and it's amazing how well y'all work together and operate together, even though he's got to be the smartest one since he's the older one, right?
No. Now we're bringing out some childhood stuff now. No. Now it sounds like, no, honestly, one thing I've always looked up to my brother, he set a lot of good precedent that being a little brother wanted to be better than him at. So he did number sense growing up. Well, I was going to beat his scores. He did, ACT, SAT. Well, I want to beat his scores. He went to this. I want to beat that type stuff. So, but him and the success he had on the field and also off the field, I don't know. Many people know he was salutatorian in his class. He won a state champion as a CX debate in high school. He's probably going to get mad that I mentioned stuff like that, but he's a super smart guy. So, of course, really good acting kid. And so me growing up was like, well, why can't you be like your brother? So, you're getting some childhood stuff going on, but it was some competition. But no, and all honesty, it's awesome that I get to work with him, that he took his family up here and they got a new house, and then they're loving it. And, I'm super excited. It's one of the cool things about taking this job and him coming up here. So
yeah, I tease my brothers all the time. I say, I got to work with you knuckleheads and, so forth and so on. But there is so much comfort whenever you have somebody that so well that you know what you're going to get and how you're going to get out of them and everything. That's got to help you with coaching these young men together as a unit.
Sure. No, yeah. That's he knows. I know his passion, and I know, like, I've seen him coach. I was able to, whenever I was at A&M, he was at Brenham, and so I was able to go down and watch him, even at the freshman basketball level when he was coaching them, to all that. So I knew where his heart was. I knew how he interacts with kids, and his wife. He's got a great wife. Also, it's a great teacher, and so they're around school setting like we're both. And so I knew from day one he'd be a perfect fit, and we get he does what. He's a good assistant coach too, and that it's not like if I ask him to do something, he'll do it. He'll definitely challenge. We challenge each other, but at the same time, we respect one another as well.
Absolutely, I've seen it. I've watched it, and I'm awed by it. It is phenomenal, and folks, it's not always easy to do that. Yeah. And so, to me, it's a big thing. It makes me more confident. Working with these young men and molding them, not just to be better football players, but to be better student athletes.
Yeah, 100%. No, wins are great. We love winning, but if I didn't get in the business, and I hope so, that from 20 years now, it's yes, we're going to remember the victories, but it's like Coach taught us the right way of playing the game the right way, doing things the right way, being good husbands, being good fathers, and that's kind of like I tell our parents at our parent meeting, we're just there to help in that regard, or fill in where we need to help mold kids. I know that's one thing I ask all of our coaching staff, and that's his Coach Humphreys' passion as well. So that's why our coaching staff would get along.
Excellent. If you would, hand it over to the younger guy over there.
Yeah.
I tell you, Coach Humphreys, last year I loved I saw more balance on the pass run game situation. This year, losing Peyton Brown, I've told everybody, I don't think that's going to stop our run game, because we've got some very special athletes in that run game. Talk about your run game and how that offensive line is going to get the job done this year. And Kelvin and company are going to make this run game even better.
100%. I'm just as confident as I was last year in our run game. Kelvin is special, and O-line, it's already shown. There's been a few plays in the scrimmages where you watch it and your eyes just open wide. You're like, this is some good stuff. O-line's making the holes they need to make. Kelvin's seeing things, and not just Kelvin. Keon, Matthew, all of our backs have done some really good things, and that just bodes your confidence right there. Peyton was special, and you hate to lose a player like that because he's so special. But when you have a program like this and the kids that work hard, Kelvin worked super hard this offseason and this summer. And, people don't know the amount of hours he's put in, and he's ready to go. And it's just going to be just as special as it was last year.
Absolutely. And let's talk about that passing game. Last year, sophomore quarterback Britton Rice coming in, new system, new coaches, new everything. I'm thinking, wow, they're going to entrust a sophomore to go from game 1 to game 13 in the season as their leading quarterback. Man, that has got to be a lot of pressure on that young bat. But as more I've got to know Britton, he's just the man for the job.
He's exactly what you want. And I'm a quarterback guy. I played quarterback in high school and coached quarterbacks my whole career. And that's rare. You get to do that. And you hope that you have a kid like Britton. And, we threw a lot on him last year, especially as a young sophomore. And the way he just rallied week to week and learned and got better, that's shown with this offseason going into this fall. Because, he knows the offense probably after us too. He's probably number 3. And he knows it. And he can control the troops out there and get people where we need to go. And I think we had some success last year in the passing game. I think you're going to see even bigger success this year.
You know what really makes me just super, super excited and stoked? Last year, I had Britton and Talon sitting here. We were talking about it. There was a little bit of a competition going on between the two of them, and senior and sophomore. And I'm sitting there talking to him, and I'm thinking, Britton's going to get this job. And as I'm talking to him, but he was a little bit more reserved, a little bit more quieter, a little bit more. Today, talking to him, you see that confidence. You see that confidence. You see that experience that has soaked into him and everything. It's got to make you really, really excited about our passing game, and talk about how special that's going to be this year.
It's going to be very special, and obviously it starts with him. It starts up front, honestly. But Britton, I do a QB school every year in the spring, and one of the biggest things we talk about is the confidence at the quarterback position and being a leader. And I think Britton, as a sophomore, had to learn how to do that a little bit, but he's really bought into that role this offseason. And it shows in every sport he plays. It shows in basketball. And I think he's learning now how to become that leader. And that confidence, not only on the field, but off the field and with the guys, is soaring. And like you said, you heard it when you talked to him today. He's ready to rock and roll. And there's no doubt in his mind now that he's the guy, and now he can be free and he can go lead and do everything we need to do on the field.
Great. I'm 60-something years old. I need big wins this year. Nothing close, okay? Just blow them out offensively, all right?
We're going to do our best.
Excellent.
I can promise you that.
Fantastic. Hand that back over to Coach. I'm gonna ask him a few more questions here. Coach, goals, desires, things that you want to see happen with this team moving forward from this day.
Keep growing, and just keep getting better as football players, and keep getting better as teammates. That's kind of where we're just continually building. We're constantly in a building mode. And you're constantly trying to just get better. So just being coachable, coming to work every day. We're going to morning practices now, so our kids are bright and early here. We start at 5:30 Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So we're going early, and so just being consistent, being here, understanding the work that pays off, and that the hard work will pay off, type things. And understand being positive. Things might not, they might make a big play. That things might not go our way. Heaven forbid we lose a game. All the different things that could go wrong, but at the same time as staying together as a team and just keep getting better. And that's my only desire in staying there. And we have the kids for it. Like you said, Britton, like you talked to Kelvin, 2 seniors, Deegan and Anson. They're really good, calm, and they're good players. And so that's kind of where those guys will lead and just bring these young kids around, because they're talented. We have some young kids that are talented and big. We've had a good offseason. They're strong, but there's nothing you can't replicate Friday night. If anybody out there that's played a sport, like, we can talk about leverage all day long, staying low, but until you get that first helmet under your chin, you're not going to learn to stay low. Like you say, run with your pad level down. Well, until you get that first pop on a Friday night, it's one of those things. So we just have to continue to stay positive, and we continue to get better.
Excellent. Fantastic. Now, before we get out of here, I gave him a chance. You want to give a shout out to your boss?
Oh yeah, no, she's my wife.
You got
Jennifer.
Bosses.
I do. Well, yeah, my wife Jennifer. She's amazing. She allows me to do this job. Honestly, I couldn't. And I speak for. I know a lot of coaches, and we couldn't do our job without our wives, because we put in a lot of hours. But they understand the dedication that we want, and they understand our heart and what it means to be a coach, and how we want to pour in to kids and community. And that just takes time. And she's there also along the way, but with her job, and then she's taking care of the little one. I say little one, she's almost 2.5. She is the big boss, and she's definitely learned the word no, unfortunately, on this one, and now it's no and why. So it's amazing how that happens that fast. She's a climber. She keeps us on our toes, but I want to have it any other way. Absolutely. She's great. Yep.
Absolutely. Maybe a future quarterback for you, Coach.
Dang, yeah.
Maybe. Let's see. So, well, thanks a lot, gentlemen. I appreciate y'all's time coming in today. Folks, this season, 2025, write it down. I said it. It's going to be a very special season. Last time I said very, very special season. We wind up in AT&T, guys. Stay tuned. We'll see you. If you can't be in the stands, be on the sports scene.